boys and girls. Welcome to our lesson on vectors form 2. Okay? Vectors form 2. This is SPSS 3. I am trying now to try and see if the ideas I taught in lesson 1 up to 6 can be identified. Those skills I gave you, if we can identify. So this time, I'm going to kind of give you a small aspect of what comes in a form 4. Okay? I want to see if you understand a few things. Addition, subtraction, multiplication by scalar, equivalent vectors. Okay, that is where I am trying to remind you this is what we had said. So let us look at the diagram. The good thing with the vectors is a real life situation. You see, if I give you a diagram like this and it consists of capital letters, and you know, in my lesson, I told you the first letter is where you are, the second letter is where you are going. I want you to narrow your movements in this diagram using 2 ways. This is the basis of vectors. 2 ways. One, if I ask you to find a particular vector, which skill do you need? On that diagram, on that map, you will have to go through other points, where points are here. These ones are points. These. Okay? I may call them towns. From Alliance to Nairobi, Nairobi to Thika, or from Alliance to Nairobi, Nairobi to Machakos. Those kind of things, movements. So I want you, if I ask you for a particular vector, I want you to narrow your movements, your skills to two skills I want from you. Go through other points, or express is part of. Look at that hint in red. Is part of. When the ratio is given. Whenever you see a ratio somewhere, then it should tell you, you can say from here to somewhere is part of that main road, that straight line that still continues. So we start it slowly. But every time I want to show you how to refer number 1, how to refer to bullet 2. Bullet 1, bullet 2. Okay? Now, V is the midpoint. V is the midpoint of PY. So where can I write that? Here. V is midpoint of PY. When you hear the word midpoint, so I'm starting. Key thing here, midpoint. Then the ratio given is 1 to 1. That is, from P to V is 1 kilometer. Size. From V to Y is 1 kilometer. Size. Are we together? Size. Come to the second aspect. PV is equivalent to VY. Now here, this is very important. PV, you see the direction? PV is equivalent to V, Y. Why? Now I'm asking you why? Why? Kwa nini? Because the two vectors PV and VY have the same size, 1, and then they face the same direction. Now we talk of equivalent. So you see, I remind you, equivalent. Okay? Now, question number 1 here. I want us to get P to Y. How do you move from P and then you go to Y? Remember, the first letter is where you are. Second letter is where you are going. Now, you have been given numbers of these routes. Okay? From W to P, you have been given this vehicle. Okay? From O to W, you've been given this vehicle. From O to Y, it is this vehicle. And from Y to Z, it is this vehicle. You have not been given from P to Y directly. There is no vehicle here. Okay? There is no vehicle on this route. So what do you do? What do you do? You are in P and you want to go to town Y. And there is no that direct route. There is no that direct route. Okay? So what happens? This is what happens in navigation with the movement using aeroplanes. Sometimes you don't get a direct flight. You have to go from this, a stopover a bit, you go there, you enjoy. So I'm at P. I will use a return plane. Okay? A return plane. So I want to give us the route PW plus WO plus OY. That is what I will use. Now here, PW is return. This is WP. So look, what do? I say return with this plane. Return with that matatu. Okay? Then plus this is this. WO. I was given O to W is this. So O to W is this. But me, I want W to O. So what do? You will use return matatu. The matatu that is returning to Kikuyu. We were in Nairobi. The one which went to Nairobi is the one which will come back. So we have a return journey. Return negative. Then now, O to Y, we seem to have this matatu. We write it. Okay? Plus. This is plus this. Then we say 2P. Sorry. 2. I want to use colors. 2P. Right. You are very okay. That is correct. So, what have I captured there? I've captured the direction and magnitude. You know that. I've captured addition. In a sense, I have captured subtraction. A return is as good as subtract. Subtract. So what do we do this? This is 2P. Now I come to collect like vectors. This one we can do often. 2P, take away P. It's like 2 shillings, take away 1 shilling. What do you remain with? P. And then we have, this is what follows. So we have minus W. That is what we have. So we can give you here 1 mark. I give you here 1 for practice. Okay? Now, can we do number 2? We try number 2. I want us to try something else. Number 2. Okay? Number 2. Number 2, suppose I ask you PV. Yeah, PV. I ask you about P If I ask you about PV, you can see there is a highway PY, but now I want only PV. So you say PV is part of PY. PV, let us start it nicely, is part of PY. That is the statement. PV is part of PY. And then you put it in a mathematical equation. So PV is which part? 1/2 of PY. That is now a mathematical equation. Then you finish. PV is a half of PY. A half of PY is halfway PY. But you already have PY. So I say it is a half. Then I put P minus W. That. Okay? PV is half of PY. Well, can we get more? Yes. We focus. I want us to focus, to use space. I'll be changing the camera here and then. That is okay. Focus there. So now suppose I ask you for W. This is number 3. WV. You are in town W. You want to go to town V. I focus a bit, you see. Maybe if I can see the whole diagram, yes, that would do. I'm in town W. I want to go to town V. There is no bus here. You have not been given a bus. Okay? Anytime you have not been given a bus, it means you have to go through other points. Because you have only 2 skills. Go through other points or express as part of. When you're told to express as part of, he will have given you what? Vector, ratio. He will have given you ratio. That is when you say is part of. But if he has not given you ratio and you are not moving a section of the highway, the only remaining choice is go through other points. So PV, WV, I can go to WP. So WP, and then what do? Connect from P to V. I connect from P to V. Another student will say WO plus OY plus YV. Even that will give you the correct answer. But you know you are in exam. You cannot afford to waste time on a longer route, yet a shorter route gives you the same result. So this is the shorter route. So what do you do now? You say, what is WP? I want to move from W to P. I've already been given the vehicle there. That is what has been given. Then plus PV. PV, even though we were not given the direct vehicle, we did it. This is PV. So we can say it is a half. This is a half P minus a half W. See, from this. Since this has been calculated. Now PV, you put the result here. This result, you put it here. And then what? Collect like vectors. So what does it mean? P plus a half P. This one we can say 1P plus a half P. This is 3.5 P. And then minus a half W. See there? Then we can say a half is common. what remains? 3p minus w. See, a half is common. Then you remain with that. That is nice. This is the stuff that you need. Okay? That is the stuff that you need. Learn how to create a bracket. Don't stop here. Now, suppose I ask you number 4. I want us to look for WZ. I'm in town W. I want to go to town Z. W to Z. There is no vehicle given. There is no ratio given. What option remains? Remember, there are 2 skills. Go through other points or express is part of. This one does not fall under is part of. Simple reason. From what I told you, there is no ratio. There is no ratio. So you can't take that skill. The remaining skill is go through other points. So from W, I drive here. Remember, this was W up. Going this way was W. But coming down will be reverse of what we were given. Okay? So, identify the root first. It is WO plus, now I can say O up to Z. And always, 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 young man, W, when you're describing the root to handle this is starting destination. When you have described your route, even if there were 3 vectors, the first letter starts, the second letter will be the last. Always remember, those are simple things to counter check that you are correct. Now, I come, WO is the reverse of W. It's the reverse. This way is positive. So coming this way is negative. What does it mean? I'm doing opposite there. Then plus OZ. From O up to Z, vehicles have been given. The one which carries you from here to here is 2P. This one is P. So it is 3P. So we say it is 3P plus 3P. Or you can put it the right. You know, now you are mature in maths. So we say 3. Let me use this P minus W. There. That is 3. This is reverse. Reverse. There. Okay? Now, I want us to conclude here. You can see number 4 and the number 3. Number 4 and the number 3, there is something. Okay? This is WZ. We had here, from number 3, we had WV is equal to a half (3p minus W). Okay? WV, we found it to be a half 3p minus W. So mathematically I can write WV is equal to a half. Then in place of 3p minus W here, I can write WZ. Which means what? If you multiply Now I am doing conclusion. Conclusion, we have to get things right here. Can it focus? Yes, down, down. Focus down is done. I'm trying to conclude this. WV and we have WZ. So WV happened to be a half 3p minus W. WZ happened to be this. So you see 3p minus W is representing WZ. So in place of 3p minus W here, I can put WZ, which means what? It means 2WV is equal to WZ. What does it mean in reality? Double this, you get that. Okay? So we can get a relationship. And when, remember, we double and we get something, this is basically what I told you. This is about equivalent. This is about equivalent vectors. Equivalent vectors. These vectors are also said to be parallel. But when one is on top of the other, we say they are collinear. Remember, these are equivalent vectors, this and that. This is a meter rule, they are equivalent. We also use the language, they are parallel. Then, at one point, this now comes exactly there. Then we say they are on a straight line. The two vectors happen to be on a straight line. We call it collinear. The points now are called collinear points. So we can say that, look at the letters involved. We have W. So this W, we have the letters W. Which other letter was involved? V. Which other letter was involved? Z. Then we say W, V, Z, lie. Can it be focused here? Let us focus it. Lie on a straight line. And then you will also tell us there is a common point. On this vector we have WZ, and this vector we have WV. So what is common? W is common point. This one, I want you to get it very clear. As you do your vectors, you will find that one is found in the other. The moment they are found in the other, they are equivalent. Another extension of equivalent is they are parallel. When they are parallel, there will be a common point. And the three other letters are said to lie on a straight line. I conclude by saying, go through other points and then express is part of. So try to do now, jog your mind with questions from past papers. Until then, this lesson you must watch it not less than 3 times. Okay? You watch it, you try a question. Watch second time, try the same question. Watch the third time, do a new question, and you will have it. Subscribe, more is coming. I'm getting some requests on matrices form 3. So I'll start to give you the basic of matrices form 3. Bye bye. See you.